Malacanang is working double time to address the flood control scandal. Still, the public is bent on holding more protests to demand accountability. Good morning, I'm Gerg Cahiles. This is At the Forefront. The August 21 movement, or ATOM, calls on Filipinos across the country to join protests on November 30th. Demonstrations will take aim at the alleged misuse of billions of pesos allocated for flood control projects. Substandard projects and those that don't even exist have led to deaths and property damage during recent storms that hit the country. To tell us more about the event, we will be speaking with Bohol. He's the president of ATOM. Good morning, Volt.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting again. It's nice to be back in the show.
Well,
last time, yeah.
Go ahead. For the benefit of the younger generation, August 21 movement.
Yeah.
Briefly, can you tell us why your organization's name is like that?
Well, of course, I was not part of the original batch. August 21, as you may have noticed, that it's about the date of the death of Senator Ninoy Aquino. So when Ninoy was assassinated on August 21, 1983, a few weeks later, his brother, Boots Aquino, who would later on become senator, formed this group, primarily to seek justice for his brother's death and for all the victims of martial law during that time.
No, civil society groups that helped organize the Trillion Peso March, including your organization, ATOM, you're expecting 500,000 people to join the protest on November 30th.
Well,
how do you intend to manage that huge amount of people joining the protest?
And this is why we have been, the group is part of the of course, the organizers. ATOM is part of Tindig Pilipinas coalition, which is also a part of the Trillion Peso organizers. Last September 21, we were expecting just around 30,000 at least, But we were surprised to get more than that. A lot of the estimates point to 6 digits, So now we have prepared much earlier, We have been doing meetings. The coalition the organizers have been doing a lot of meetings since as early as, I guess, October or even September.
How about coordination with the police?
That's definitely part of it. That's definitely part of it. We have been coordinating with them regularly, and in fact, there was a time when we were not yet ready to meet with them. They have been reaching out already, so they're willing.
Is that a good sign?
It is. It is. In fact, they are actually. They just wanted to, to help bring order to the upcoming event. Yeah.
So the November 30th event, the Trillion Peso March Part 2, will be held at the People Power Monument again.
Yeah. But there will be a march, a formation. The plans as of now, we will have a formation and then a march from EDSA Shrine.
Okay.
So as of the moment, as of press time, meetings are still ongoing, so that might still change. But generally, that's the idea.
Okay. So what time will you meet as a People Power Monument and march towards the People Power Monument?
Yeah, this is going to be a whole day event. As early as 7 a.m. we'll be there already.
Oh, okay.
So unlike the previous Trillion Peso, which started around, I would say 9 a.m. But the official Trillion Peso rally started after lunch. Basically. But there were already pre-event rallies, 9 a.m. But
of course, you will not stop people from coming if they wanted to come early, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most definitely. I heard some of them would even be there already the night before, especially those coming from the province.
So may vigil na mangyayari the night before?
Some organizations are planning something like that. Yeah.
Okay, but of course, people are asking, bakit hiwalay na naman kayo? May Luneta activity and merong People Power Monument activity.
Yeah.
What is the explanation?
Well, I guess, it's always really a challenge, to really, of course, if you ask us, it would have been better to really be just in one event,
Yes.
But on the other hand, there are a lot of challenges to sort. Well, we have common denominators, but there are also, of course, you may have we must all remember
Different
that
cause.
this is a coalition with different
yes.
organizations.
Of course.
If it's just up to Atom, I guess we have a different way of handling things, but we have to also abide by the majority. So there are some organizations that we have to respect also, and as far as their opinion, and we have common denominators, but different ways on how to achieve that goal. So, but if you ask me, I don't see it entirely negative, because if you look at it, it seems to show the Filipinos that this is not just happening in EDSA Shrine. I would probably be expecting nationwide rallies instead.
Well, is there a plan to march towards Menjola, especially with the developments in politics, in the issue of flood control? Meron bang ganung plano?
Well, as far as our group is concerned, there is not.
Okay.
Now, we'll stay in EDSA, in People Power Monument. I'm just not sure with the other groups. Yeah.
Are planning to do.
But they're planning to do
syempre,
something like that.
we've seen kasi in the past, noong September 21, nagkaroon ng konting, nagkaroon ng kaguluhan doon sa area. And of course, it's their decision naman, whatever they wanted to do. But do you agree with the means of these young men, as we are showing, to express their sentiments?
Well, as far as Atom is concerned, we've always been nonviolent. That's our advocacy. Butz Aquino, Ninoy Aquino was nonviolent, so it follows that his brother will follow the nonviolent way of resistance. And during that time, and we continue with that. Now, what happened back in September 21? We have to also understand that these people may have been, they're also the victims of the corruption that is currently happening. They're part of the people, the Filipinos that we are fighting for.
So you cannot blame them from, expressing that anger, that rage.
We don't subscribe to that means. I mean, we prefer that we do it in a non-violent way. We do not condone it, definitely. But we also have to look at the bigger picture. Where is the root of the problem? Why were they there? Were they a part of? Maybe they're the victims of the poverty that has been happening for decades in our country.
Now, Volt, Defense Secretary Gibot Yodoro seems to concur with the Armed Forces' suspicion that the United People's Initiative rally, this is another group led by some former military, that the EDSA People Power Monument could be foreign funded. Yung activities nila, Yodoro said that people who want the military to revolt want to sell the Philippines to China. Are you aware if a foreign entity has bankrolled any protest in the past?
I heard about the news of the Defense Secretary commenting on that, but I did not realize that he actually mentioned the country. We've heard about that. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to such confidential information, but
as far as Tindig Pilipinas is concerned, siguro just to clarify things na lang din, may foreign funding ba kayo? Kung kayo lang ang tatanungin.
Well, no, definitely. Especially when it comes to these mobilizations, definitely no, definitely not. So there you go. That's a difference. Now, if they are indeed proven to be engaging in such actions, then I would probably be against that. Definitely.
Siyempre, yung panawagan natin ng accountability, at saka tama ba? You're calling for
accountability.
Accountability and siguro pagbalik ng pera sa mga Pilipino.
Yeah, definitely. And we want to see people go to jail and not get pardoned a few years later, because that's been the practice of our country.
That's been the practice.
It's okay. We want to see people go to jail, but we also want to see 5 years, 10 years, they should stay there.
Sila. Kasi natanong ko din naman yon because on Thursday, the Bureau of Customs was able to auction off several vehicles of the Vizcayas. And mga 38 million pesos yata yung nakuha nila.
I heard.
Definitely it will go back to the treasury. Now, how much do you think the government can realistically get back from those who plundered billions of pesos from this flood control mess?
ideally, of course, we want everything, you know. But judging from the history of our nation, how we tried, you know, reclaiming some of the ill-gotten wealth during the Marcos dictatorship, I would probably be happy to see at least 85%. You know, I'm not. We want 100%, but you know, it's really hard. But because, like I said, judging from the way our country experienced things, you know, in retrieving ill-gotten wealth, but we're hoping something like that at least. You know.
Oh, now, si PBBM, naglabas siya ng video kanina.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sinasabi niya nga doon. I think this is prior to the event na itong ICI and DPWH.
Yeah.
They are already saying na dapat kasuhan or they're recommending na kasuhan itong si Zaldico at saka si former Speaker Romualdez. And the President said that in that video, he said that he is well, ipapasa na nga ng ICI at ng DPWH yung mga dokumento sa Ombudsman. And for them to investigate once and for all si Representative Romualdez at si Zaldico in relation to the flood control scandal. Now, sa tingin mo sapat na yun, is it enough? Or ano yung basa nyo dito? Why is the President now allowing the investigation sa kanyang first cousin?
First and foremost, it's still the end result of what the people is currently doing. You know, the simultaneous and the non-stop rallies that has been happening since more than a month ago. You know, dito dapat people should understand how important the mobilizations are, and that every one of us should be invested in this. I don't think Malacanang would even think of doing something like this. The people is not you know, doing or not voicing out aggressively
but
the
do
corruption.
You think it's their way of stopping
maybe pacifying
the bleeding, no? Pacifying the public?
That's part of it, I guess. That's part of it. Like I said, you know, we are so used to breaking news like that. You know, those are good news. Of course, we accept them. We welcome them. But up to where do these breaking news end? You know, that's the most important thing is the end point of these. You know, we are so used to starting investigation, but how do we end these investigations?
Okay, sige, we will continue the discussion. We're taking a short break. You're watching At the Forefront. Welcome back at the Forefront. We continue our conversation with Atom President Volt Bohol. Now, we were talking about, well, the President already, well, it's a sign, giving a go signal to investigate former Speaker Romualdez.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it is enough for the people to stop, well, pacify the public, number one, and number two, matatapos na ba yun? Or are we going to look further, because Zaldico is in fact accusing the President to have, you know, gained something from this flood control mess and insertions in the 2025 budget. What do you think?
For all we know, maybe that's a reaction of Malacanang to the Zaldico testimonies. You know, but at the same time, like we said, you know, we want Zaldico to go home, to again accuse the President, but under oath, you know. Now, going back to Speaker Romualdez, if you go back to our history, his father, Ferdinand Marcos Sr., during the post-Ninoy assassination, allowed the indictment of General Ver when they were being implicated as the masterminds of Ninoy's assassination. So the context is, eventually, General Ver was, you know, the case was dismissed, and it doesn't end there. And when it was dismissed back in the 80s, or acquitted, the people continued to pour out in the streets in demanding, you know, of course, protesting. So this is almost similar to that, because you have to remember that. General Ver was a loyal, a friend, even to the former dictator.
So are you saying that President Bongbong Marcos's administration is on survival mode now?
I wouldn't deny that. It's pretty obvious it is, they're probably, but at the same time, maybe he's also trying to do something good, and this is why it's also, we support our fellow organizations in calling for the passage of the political dynasty bill, which is, we believe, can really solve a lot of the corruption problems in our country.
Now, balikan ko lang because yesterday guest dito si Teddy Casino and their call is for the President Marcos to resign and VP Sara to resign and to have a transition council. Anong take niyo doon?
Well, we are always there behind the Constitution.
Okay.
Kasi may context din yan. The August 21 movement, during the post-EDSA, of course, we had the new Constitution, the 1987 Constitution.
But prior to that, there was a transition, a revolutionary government.
Revolutionary government, because the Constitution that was being followed at that time was, flawed, or even, it's a farce, because it wasn't really approved by the Filipino people during martial law. Now, the 1987 Constitution, the first batch of ATOM, 1983, campaigned real hard for the 1987 Constitution. So we continue to stand with what is stated in our Constitution. It has to be constitutional.
So no transition council as far as ATOM is concerned?
If the Constitution doesn't say so, then no.
How about the resignation of President BBM after he was implicated to this budget insertion and kickbacks now, allegedly?
Okay, so those are again, we are again going back to the Zaldico accusation. Like we said, he has to go home. If these accusations are really true, he has to swear oath and deliver those testimonies again under oath.
Of course, your critics, no, from the Duterte camp, are saying that, are you protecting President Bongbong Marcos so that Vice President Sara Duterte will not be able to sit and replace him as the next president should President Bongbong Marcos decide to resign?
Well, not really. We're definitely not protecting. In fact, if you look back at our of our statements in the previous weeks, we have been hardliners and critics of Marcos Jr. as well, and as well as Sara Duterte, Vice President.
Okay, so susuportahan nyo ba kung magkaroon ng move to impeach PBBM sa Congress?
If that is, if that is possible, then if there are evidences, heavy evidences, then yes, definitely.
Kumbaga, it's difficult kasi to judge kung ano lang, hearsay or parang walang batayan.
Yeah, kasi we are for not dismissing entirely the testimonies of Zaldico, but it has to be done the right way, according to our laws. Para siyang naging vlogger lang kasi. So anyone can just go out on video, just like what the Vice President did when he went out on video and ranted, di ba?
You think he's under pressure, Zaldico, reading his statements?
Excuse me.
Sa tingin mo, kasi ang sinasabi, there may be a group behind him right now. Yeah.
We do not discuss. Right now, we're just speculating, of course. We don't have any proof, But judging from, like I said, if he doesn't go home, then maybe that it gives the impression that there is just this group, trying to really influence him and use him to destabilize the current government.
Baka mapatay daw siya.
Well, if you
is it something like the Ninoy Aquino thing?
Well, they have. It sounds familiar. In fact, the Duterte camp has been employing the Ninoy narrative from several months ago. Remember how the comparison with President Duterte came out, diba? So they've been really fond of that for some reason. Because maybe the Marcos is the one sitting in Malacanang.
But how do you react to that? Na kino-compare si Ninoy kay Duterte? Of
course, it's nakakatawa, and at the same time we are, of course, offended. Ang layo. I mean, we came out with a statement that this is a different case entirely. President Duterte is running away from the law, while from our laws, but Ninoy Aquino is the one, trying to come home to. It's an entirely different one. He wanted to come home to bring back democracy.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Juan Ponce Enrile, because recently you issued a statement opposing his burial sa libingan ng mga bayani.
He's not a hero.
Okay.
Definitely. Just like the dictator was buried in 2016. And I think, if you go back again several years ago, 2016, when the dictator was buried like a thief in the night, everybody was caught by surprise, no announcement whatsoever. That started that is definitely the mother of all lies, and practically paved the way for the return of the Marcoses to power. Kasi previous to that, we are aware already of the social media fake news, but that was the end result of the greatest fake news. It was the greatest fake news, and now we are trying to duplicate that in a way by,
Pero may magagawa ba tayo, Volt, to, well, at least your group, your organization, those victims of martial law, to be able to stop that?
We came out with a statement, a co-statement actually with Project Unita. And we will see what we can do, but definitely I don't see him, if this will push through, I don't see him resting there for the rest of our lives.
Okay.
Someday, this will be corrected. Even the burial of the dictator should be corrected. If we want our country to be, to have a better future based on truths, then we have to correct those errors of our country.
Now, Volt, you have activities prior to November 30. I think you have an activity later this afternoon, tama ba?
Oh yeah, in Ayala.
Yeah. What will happen?
Well, we had one also last Friday. It was led by a labor organizations, and of course, Tindig Filipinos is also there. August 21 is also there, and we will again. This time we are actually leading the Ayala mobilization later. It's the same. We're gonna be walking around Ayala Triangle sidewalk, and
just along the sidewalk.
Yeah, along the sidewalks. In fact, the sidewalks are really huge, malaki rin naman. So, and then we have a program at the back of the Ninoy Aquino statue. We're trying to really, that was a tradition. Every time there is a big issue in our government, from the time of the Marcos, the Estradas, and the Glorias.
I remember
Ayala.
those Ayala activities.
Yeah, Ayala has always been part of that. Every time there is a big issue.
All right. Thank you very much, Volt. And we'll be seeing you on November 30th. Siguro
Thank you.
sa People Power Monument.
Thank you very much.
Many are not satisfied with the way the government is handling the flood control scandal. The public is demanding the prosecution of those responsible in the squandering of taxpayers' money worth tens of billions of pesos. Unless the government acts swiftly and decisively, public discontent will continue to rage. Be informed, be insightful of the news. I'm Gerg Cahiles. Always stay at the forefront.